The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, this is Christina and welcome to our Scientific Forex Live webinar. I'm happy to see you all here. Before moving on, please tell me if you can hear me. You can type it onto the chat box on the webinar control panel. It's found at the right corner of your screen. If you would like to ask a question, you can also type it into the chat box. This session is being recorded and will be posted in members area for you. Also, please remember that if you need any help, you can chat personally, or if you need support, go to the support section in the members area and call us, send us an email, or use Skype or live chat. We will be very happy to help you. In our webinar from today, I just changed a little the format because I have some question coming from mails or members area that I consider that will be interesting for all of you, and will help you to understand better the system and my decision in the market. So I think that we can answer to some of those questions. In the second part of the webinar, we will look over a few pairs and we will just check the evolution in the last days. So the question that I received, one of them is this one. Using FIBO, how far do we have to look back as 1 hour, 4 hour and daily chart? Has lots of highs and lows that are open to interpretation. So it is right, I'm jumping from one time frame to another. But I'm using the higher time frames like daily just to see the big picture of the market. So let's have this example on pound dollar on daily. I'm looking on daily and we can see very clear that it was an uptrend. First impulse was stronger, and after that we have one period of consolidation, one period when the market just swing into those levels. And after that, the market just continued the uptrend. So I have one idea what is happening in the market. Of course, if I'm going from this signal that I have here onto daily, will be a nice trade. but I have to wait a very long period of time. If I'm looking from this signal up to, let's say, this one, I can see that I have about 90 days. 90 days means about 3 months. So in this period of time, if I'm going into one trade on a signal on daily, I just have to check from time to time what is the situation of the pair. So I don't have to go every time into the market. I don't have to stay glued to the computer or so on. But also, if I'm going on a smaller time frame, like 4-hour time frame, I will look just for a smaller period of time. I also have here one signal on daily, and but it's not a very strong confirmation from MACD. Will be not a strong signal like this one, but anyway, the red line of MACD is crossing the zero line, so will be one interesting period in the future after I have this signal on daily. Even in this situation, I have about 1 month, 38 days, about 5 weeks. So also for this signal on daily, I am expecting one period of time, something like 1 month or so. I just can draw the channel. I have 2 points here. So I have inferior line of the channel, and I can translate this line to have one channel. So here in this point, I will know that the pair will make some swings between those lines of the channel. Maybe when I have the signal on daily, I can look for different signals for buy on smaller time frame. Here the MACD also is not giving me one signal for buy or sell. That means that those moves will be not so strong. Let's see what is happening into 4-hour time frame. In this period of time, when I have signals on daily for buy, for different long trades, I have several signals on 4 hours. So all of those signals will be interesting for me to go into one trade. This is offering, if here when I have already one channel, maybe those signals will be interesting for a buy. So here I have signal on 4-hour time frame. I will just make them in one other color. And here I have also one confirmation from MACD. So I will be confident to go into this long trade. And maybe up to this point when I have to cross off where I have the cross of RSI, and also I have that confirmation from MACD. I will keep one trade. Let's see how long it will take to have this trade. So from this signal up to this point, somewhere in here, I have about 20 candles. It means more than 3 days. So actually this is the difference between those time frames. I have one question. Judy is asking me, how can you see the channel that early in its development? So on daily, I have 2 points, this low and the second low, and I have this this high. So when I have 3 points, from those 2 points I can draw one line, and through this high I just can plot one parallel line with the first trend line. So we have one channel. What I can see is this part of the movement from this low. So after I have 2 lows and 1 high, I have the channel. So I can anticipate this part. For those 2 waves of the pair, those one and the second one, I can just anticipate with Fibonacci or something like this. I don't have any idea how it will be the channel. So for the first wave and for the second, after I have the first wave and after I have the second wave, I have the channel. Until then, I don't have any idea about the channel. Milan is telling me using 4 hours for analysis, 1 hour for Fibo and 15 minutes for signal. I'm a little early to enter and a little late to leave. Is that the same for you? Welcome, Judy. Milan, actually, yes, this was one of my problems with this system in the beginning, because all the time I was going too early into one trade, and it was difficult for me to wait for confirmation. But in time, I saw that most of the signals are good, and this is how it works. And actually, I'm happy with those signals that are coming earlier. But let's see how. Let's go into this rectangle and to see how it is working on smaller time frame. Okay. So on 4-hour time frame, on this area, I have the channel and I can anticipate this wave. To help me to find one level, I will put Fibonacci on this last wave. I will put Fibonacci into direction of the wave. And my target will be somewhere minimum 100 from this wave, because this is the third wave. So my first target will be somewhere in this area. I will change the color of the trend line. So my first target will be here. And if I don't have a strong retracement from this area, in this area 100, it can be one retracement up to 70 or 61.8. If I don't have something like this, I will look for the next level. Sometimes it's okay if we are going out from the trade here and just wait for one new buy signal to see if the pair will go into the uptrend to make more high. So I have new possible targets 113, 127, 141. It's not usual to have 161.8 or higher. Most of the time, the pair is reaching 127, 141 Fibonacci level for the third wave. So in this point, I can secure somehow my profits and look for the next level, or just to go out and to look for a new signal. Here, as long as we have the crossover SI, maybe I think that was better to go out from the trade. The pair made new levels, but anyway, this means about 90-20 candles. It means 3 days. For the next levels, it means here I have 4 candles, 13, 15. So maybe up to this signal here. I have about 8 candles. It means something like 1 day or so. In this way, when the pair is arriving at 100, I can protect somehow my profit, or to put a stop loss in this area 70.61, or just to close the trade and look for the next. But for the next period, when the pair is going over the 100, I will go to check more often my trade. Or if I'm going, I will pay attention to don't go into one trade that I'm waiting to take profit after 3 days a week or so. I will just check from 4 hours to 4 hours, something like this. I will be more often into the market and pay attention to my trade. This will make the difference between the person that have one daily job different than trading, and the person that are acting like daily traders. So if you, it's depending on you if you want to stay more into the market, or if you want to stay less into the market. Actually, this is the difference. In this point, if I'm acting like a daily trader, I will go into smaller time frame and I will look for signals. So I have those two signals that are for sell. Let's see what I have into 1 hour time frame. So those was my signal for sell. Yes. Here into 1 hour, I have one signal for buy. Here my signal will be smaller and I have to look for trades in a different way. I have to stay somehow to check somehow more often the charts and so on. So I have here one signal for buy. I have here one other signal for buy. And I will look for trades that can be interesting. So as long as the pair didn't go into the downside here after that signal, I will take this one and I will have the first target once 113. So it means up to this. It means about 5. I have here 5 candles, and means to stay here about 5 hour or something like this, and to check from time to time my trade. Sorry. Also, you can see that here I have about my potential target will be at about 49 pips or 490 points if you have 5-digit platform. And here, if I have this swing, I will look if the pair will try to reach also 127. So I have to stay somehow to check those levels on Fibonacci. This is more appropriate for traders that have more time to stay for trading. One other way to control our trading into this period is just to apply money management and to, after I have that signal here, just to put a stop loss into this area. A little bit under the middle Bollinger Band, or at this level where I have the PSAR. And I will establish, so I have here the stop loss. I'm going into this point into trade, and I put the take profit at 40 level. I will look for the money management to have at least 1 to 2 risk reward. But here I have about 5 pips as at risk and about 42 as reward. Paul is asking me, you have gone into the trade without the market indicating a yes. Why? The main indicators for the system, the signals, the most important signals for me are the cross is the cross of RSI, are those two RSIs, RSI 14 and RSI 5. The rest of indicators just help me to have an idea about the trend. Oscillator of moving average and MACD is indicators for trend. Also the trend lines and also SAR that I have here. So for me important is this cross. If I am going into higher time frame, I have more space to put a trade, but I have to wait more. If I'm going to smaller time frame, I have to go into trades and go very quickly, and also to have a good money management system. Even if you are looking just for 1 to 2, 1 to 3 risk reward, as long as you are going with the trend that we have on bigger time frames, you will have most of the trades as positive. So when you are going on smaller time frame, 50 minutes, 5 minutes for signals, even into 1 hour time frame, you are kind of safe. But as long as a pair is going into 1 day with about 100 175 pips. Actually, this is the average of the pair into 1 day. Michael is asking me, Christina, how important are 70 and 30 levels on oscillator of moving average? Actually, I put 70 and 30 levels are part of the RSI, are the levels of the RSI. 70 levels means for RSI that is oversold, and 30 level means that 70 level means that the pair was overbought, like here, and when the RSI is going under the 30 level, the pair was oversold. The RSI 14 is a indicator that is for 14 periods of time, and the RSI 5 is for 5 periods of time. So RSI 5 will be faster and will indicate me earlier that the pair is oversold and will change the direction. We have, when we have RSI 14 over above the 70 level or under 30 level, it means that there are special periods when the pair is when probably the market is when we have a lot of feelings in the market, maybe panic, maybe I don't know, too much enthusiasm or so. But 70 and 30 level have no relation with oscillator of moving average. Oscillator of moving average I just put into the same window because I want to have more space for candles and for Fibonacci and so on. Paul, can we look at some live pairs to see if there are any trades coming up? Yes, of course, we will do this in the second part of the webinar. I have several questions that are related with this. So I will answer also to those questions, and after that we will go to the live pairs. So one other question. Faisal is asking me, does the angle of the crossover makes a difference? No, and I think that is quite complicated to check all the time that angle. So one other question that I received. What would you suggest as a trading time frame? I work between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. For a newbie, should I trade on the 4-hour chart only? Or it is also possible, practical for me to work on the 1-hour time frame? Actually, the difference will be if you will specify the time zone where you are, but the pairs are active into London session, and so this is something like 7 GMT, and up to, I don't know, late in the afternoon, maybe 5 or 7 GMT, even earlier. If this means a good period of time, it is possible to work in a smaller time frame to have those trades like we have signal into 1 hour or so. We can go for signal on smaller time frames. Here we have more signals, but we have just trades like several pips, maybe 20, 25, something like that. So, and for a smaller period of time. So here we have one cross of the RSI, here we have another one. We can take those signals, so from here up to the opposite signal, I have about 31 pips. So here I have the signal for entry, here I have the signal for exit. After a short period of time, I have one other signal for entry here. And in 30 minutes, I have signal to go out. But again, it's depending on the time zone that you are. If you can trade something like this, maybe when you are coming back from the work, you can catch the London session and you can go to trade for 1 or 2 hours, something like this. Otherwise, I think that it's better to look for the trend, for the direction on to 5-hour time frame, and after you have a signal into 4 hours to go into 1 hour time frame to get the signal from crossover RSI to go into one trade. And the last question that I will take from members area into this webinar is how do you determine which Fibo line to use as a take profit and stop loss levels. This is according with I will go on daily for this. This is according with Elliott wave. So if I have this wave, yes, I will look for one retracement at least at 41, 38, 41. So let's see. Here from this low to this high, the pair just reached 41.4. So after I have this wave and I have this signal for reverse, I will look for one target like minimum 30.2, 41.4. But considering that this is daily, my first target will be 23, and after that 38.2, 41.4. I will measure this wave, and I can see that my wave was about 688 pips or 6,883 points. If I'm measuring the distance between the Fibonacci line, I can see that I have in between Fibonacci lines about 92 pips, 927 points. So ideal for me will be to have one stop loss at this high, 2-3 pips above this high, or if I want to be safe on this level where I have the superior line of Bollinger Band. So this will be the safe stop loss. Here, a few pips higher than the last high can be the stop loss. My take profit will be, I can put at 13 level, 23 level, or 38.2. If I'm looking for one trade just up to certain level of Fibonacci or up to 23, I think that my choice will be for the lowest stop loss. If I'm looking for 38.2, my stop loss will be the safest one. So considering the difference between those stop loss, I have here about 30 pips, 31 pips as difference between those two stop loss. In this case, I will adjust my position, the number of lots that I put in the market, into the market, and I will adjust this with the leverage and with the equity that I have in my account. So if I will take for the first two targets, 13 or 23, I can go with a bigger lot, a bigger position. If I'm looking for 38.2, I will have one smaller position. In this way, I will have a smaller quantity of risk in my equity. So this will be the difference. Clive, do you make a point of trying to trade the third wave of the daily chart? I think that this will be a good idea for the traders that are not used yet, are not familiar with Fibonacci and the waves. Because also here, when we have the signal, we can anticipate that our trade. So when I put Fibonacci on this one, I will look for at least 70, or as long as I was into one range trade, as long as it was one range trade, I will look to 70 or 100 level to see if the pair will make more swings in range or will have one direction. So also the first wave can be anticipated somehow. When you have the first wave, you also can use Fibonacci for the next wave. You have here signal for sell. So all the waves can be, and also you have something like fractals. You have same type of swings into smaller time frame. Also into 4 hour we have swings. For example, here into this point, we have somehow like a channel here. So also we will have some waves into 4 hour time frame. But as long we are going on smaller time frame, we have more opportunities and we have to be more active into the market. Just I have some few questions. Hayden, good morning to you too. Sometimes the RSI crossover can change very quickly and reverse. Would you wait for a couple of candles before entering the trade? Actually, jumping from one time frame to another is helping me to consider or not a trade. If I have into 4 hour time frame something like this, I have the signal for entry, I will look into 1 hour or smaller time frame for different signals. So I have this area. Into 4. So in daily it was one buy signal. I have a buy signal on 4 hour time frame here and here. And if I'm going on smaller time frame, I will have more signal for sell and buy. So here was a signal, here was a signal. I have a lot of signals for buy. So I can look for those one to go into one trade. If I'm going for 30 minutes, in between those two signals that I have into 1 hour, I have 1, 2, 3 signals for buy. But as smaller are the time frames, you will go through something like scalping. On 5 minutes time frame, you will have just a few pips from a signal or so. You have signal here, one other here, and let's see what that means. I have here the crossover and very quickly the opposite signal. So I have this something like this candle. That means about 7 or 8 pips or 80 points. I have just one candle, about 5 minutes or something like this. For this signal, I have, here is the signal. I have about 7 pips. Here I have one other signal, and here means 15 minutes. The candles on 5 minutes means 15 minutes. For this signal, up to this point, when I have the opposite signal, I have about 18 pips. This can be considered one good trade on if I'm looking for signal on 5 minutes time frame. Also, if I can see that the pair is reaching the superior Bollinger Band, and I have the signal for sell, I can go into the opposite direction, here the same, as long I have also the signal for sell, and I can also go into that small downtrend on 5 minutes time frame. And here from the signal up to this point, when I have the reverse candle, I have about 15 pips. So if you are looking for scalping, you can stay also into 5 minutes time frame, and here means about 8 candle less than 1 hour, and so on. You have here one other signal also that is coming with one signal from MACD. I have here the opposite signal. I have to go out. So here I have one other signal for buy, opposite signal, but it's not confirmed by MACD. I can stay more into the trade. So that signal, that system can help you even if you are one day trader, or even if you are looking for bigger time frames, because you don't have just to look to the cross of RSI. You also have to look for the Fibonacci lines, and it's better to put Fibonacci into 4-hour time frame. This is what I prefer to do, or into 1-hour time frame. So in this case, you have some expectation. If I can see here if I put the Fibonacci into the last wave that I have into 4 hour, I have some expectation, so I will go with this signal here. I will go with this signal for buy, but my expectation are 13 level or 23.6 level or even 38.2. So I will stay more into a trade because swinging or scalping into 5 minutes chart means to stay all the time to the computer and to it's quite difficult to stay more than 4 or 5 hours in front of the computer, and it's not a worthy thing to do. Craig is asking me, do you account for the spread when setting your stop loss? As probably you know, I prefer to trade majors. This is one of the reasons because sometimes I'm going into trades on smaller time frame. So on majors, we don't have big spreads. Maybe 2 or 3 pips, 1 pips for euro dollar, 2 for GBP yen, and so on. I think 3 for Aussie dollar, and so for me, don't matter the spread. If you are looking for exotic pairs, you can have spread about 8 pips or so. So if you are looking for scalping, make no sense because to open one trade on, I don't know, Euro GPI, if you are it's possible to have 7 or 8 pips as spread. So is not bringing you profits when you have trades with targets 7 or 10 pips or so. But if you are going on bigger time frames and your targets are, let's say, signal for a buy, and you are looking something from, let's say, one level between 0 and 13 up to the 38 when you have 74 pips as target, of course you can afford one bigger spread or one commission like we have in for some brokers, with some brokers. Saxo have something like this. So you have to consider the lot, you have to consider the equity, and you can go, you have to go for bigger targets. So the spread is important when you like something like scalping. Sean, hi Christina, what is the best leverage to use as a beginner? My friends that I saw that my friends prefer 1 to 200 leverage, but also after a few months, 2-3 months, they prefer more 1 to 500 leverage. Of course, you have to adjust your money management with the leverage because you have low for low amount for margin, but also you can be a little bit fooled by the moves of a higher leverage. I think 1 to 200 is the best, is the optimal is the optimal leverage. Okay, let's go to the pairs to see what we have. Just I want you to see something different, something more. I will clear those charts. So for the daily chart, we have just a few signals. You can make one exercise to something like to count how many signals we have also with the confirmation from MACD. And you will see that for all those signals, you will need you will not need too much time to check the charts or so. So here we have 3 signals for sell on pound. And actually the signal to go out from the trade is the opposite signal that we receive. So here we have the opposite signal. Also, we have confirmation from MACD. So what we can see, if I'm looking for this signal, I have about 16 candles up to the next opposite signal. So I have 15 days to look to this trade and just to stay in it and to take some profit. 15 days is a reasonable period of time for any type of trader. So you can go into one trade with a small amount. You maybe not at the first candle, you go to the second one, or after you have the cross from RSI, you will go on 4-hour time frame and you will take the first signal after that one, after that signal. Sorry. So after I have the signal on daily, I will go on 4-hour time frame to take the first signal for sell into 4-hour time frame. Maybe it will be at the beginning of the next candle. So the next day I will go into the trade and I will stay about 12, 13 days until I have the opposite signal. Until I have the signal for buy. When I have the signal, definitely I have to go out from this trade. For the next trade, same. I will have this one and I will check it from time to time. So here, probably one day after or so, I will go into one trade. I will not have, I will go on to trade that is coming with the signal on 4-hour time frame. Here, probably I will see after 1 or 2 days that the pair is going into the upside. So probably when I see that the RSI and here when I see that the RSI 5 is closing to RSI 14, I will close the trade. So I have that swing that probably will be a difficult type of, it will be one difficult trade for me. But anyway, when I have that signal for sell, the next one, I will go into a trade and I will go when I have the opposite one signal. So I have 4 trades, a lot of time to check if it is not appearing something like this. So for the last signal also until I have the opposite signal here, this should be in red. Here also I have to stay for about 20 days. So it's a different rhythm of the charts when you are on bigger time frame. Okay, let's go for the pairs. So on euro dollar, probably you saw that the pair just reached 161.8, made a little reverse up to 141, and probably now it will retest again 161. I don't have yet a signal on daily. I don't have yet the confirmation from MACD. So I have a lot of chance that my pair will go to test this 88.6 level or lower. On 4-hour time frame, you can see that the pair don't even reach 141 level, and I have one signal for buy here with a confirmation from a small confirmation from MACD, but yet I think that the pair will just have the power to go up to 141.4, not higher. We can see a bigger move if the pair will cross the middle Bollinger Band. So until the pair will stay under the Bollinger Band, I think that the pair will continue the downtrend. If we are going into 1 hour, we can see that here was last night that signal for buy. That we also can consider to be a strong one. We have here. So here was the first signal that it's possible to go into one buy. And after a few swings, a few crossover SI, we have a new signal here, and also the red line is going out from the MACD. Also here we have that signal for buy. So here the pair was rejected from that middle Bollinger Band. So probably it will test again that 141.4 level. I think that we have a possibility to see swings between those levels, 70.4 and 78.74 here. Maybe today and maybe tomorrow. It was something like the tendency of making the cross, but not yet confirmed. So I can see that oscillator or moving average is making bar smaller and smaller. This is a signal that the pair will go into will continue the swing to the down direction for the next hours. Okay, for the pound, the pair just go a little bit under the 50 level, Fibonacci, didn't reach the channel line, also didn't reach 61.8. It's possible to see something like this in the next period of time. If we are going on smaller time frame, like 4 hours, we can see that the pair was rejected from middle Bollinger Band, 38.2, 41.4 level, and went into the down direction. And into 1 hour, here was a signal for sell, also confirmed by MACD, so probably the pair will test at least 50 level or the inferior channel line. Here we have the yen. The yen is trying to establish his uptrend channel, like you can see here. I think that we have to modify a little bit the Fibonacci. We have a new low here into this point at 79.39, and we can see just that the pair don't have the power to go into a downtrend anymore. And I think that here we have the signal for buy, also confirmed by MACD. So we can look for one signal onto 4 hours for buy. So the first one was here. The pair test again the inferior trend line. I think that the pair will, if this trend line will be broke and the pair will go into the upside, I think that we can see as first target 38.2 to 41.4 level for the next hour, we just have one signal for buy here. That one. And also confirmation from MACD. So I think that we just it was a good signal for going into one trade, but also I think that at the next swing, so after this, the pair is preparing to make one sell signal. When we have the opposite signal, we can go into one trade, and at least we have to look for target minimum, this trend superior line of the channel of the, so up to here, certain level. In this point, probably the pair will tell us if the pair will broke this line, will go into the upside. It's possible to go up to 23 or maybe just to the half of the level to retest this channel line. And if the pair will be rejected, we will see in the next period one up trend for dollar GPI. For WOSI, we also have to modify that FIBO. It was put too early here. So on daily, we can see that the pair reached 78.6 and a value of 0.9935. Actually, the target was the parity. Probably now the pair will have one one move, one retracement, one small retracement. And just let me to clear the image. Because now we have something like a channel. So it was that FIBO that is important. And we have the channel. So you can see here that the pair just broke the channel, the inferior trend line of the channel. Actually, because there was some downgrades of the Italian banks. 24 Italian banks was downgraded something between 2 and 4 points. And the market was very nervous yesterday. Yesterday in the afternoon was that news. And now the pair just recover up to the parity. I think that the pair will go into one retracement up to, I don't know where it will meet the superior trend line, but I think that maybe at 50 into this point. We have here something like the cross of RSI. I think that is a little bit too early to, and I don't have the confirmation. If I have also the confirmation, if the pair will go to 61.8 or will cross that 70 level, probably in this afternoon, maybe after several hours, we will know if the pair will target the superior line of the channel. I think that maybe the channel was something like this. I didn't put from the high. So I have one high, the second high, and I have one low here. So I have the channel. This is the something like the third wave of the channel. Let's see on smaller time frame on Aussie dollar. Here we already have that signal for buy. Remember that is into 4 hours, so I think that we can consider a buy trade, but as long as we don't have yet a signal on daily here, I think that so I think that as long as we don't have the signal on daily, I think that for this signal we have to be very careful. So the pair can retrace from this 70 and to make some swings into that inferior line of the channel. We have to wait maybe for the next signal for next signal onto that time frame, or maybe to go into one smaller time frame to see what is happening. I have the signal. This is the signal into 4 hours. Also is the signal into 1 hour. I have something like a signal for sell short term. Probably it will be up to the middle Bollinger Band here, and the pair will continue up to 61.8. In this point, I think that we will see this swing between the lines of the channel. Anyway, minimum at 61.8 or maybe at 50 level. Michael is asking me, Christina, can you see the waves on Aussie dollar in the new downtrend? Michael, I can see those too high. So the lowest point here will be the end of the first wave. So I can consider that this will be the first wave. Because from this low, the pair just went into the up direction and made a new important high. This is all that I can see. And from this high, just going to the downtrend. So sometimes we have just to guess. I have this high here. I have the second high here. This is very clear for everyone, I think. So one high, the second one. So those can be considered as wave 1 and wave 2. In this case, if I put Fibonacci on wave number 2, there'll be something like this. Make it blue. And So from this point to this high, and I will go on 4-hour time frame because I need to see more distance, and I can see that the pair was lower than 161.8. So, but as I told you that, so on the second wave the Fibonacci is the blue one. I was waiting for the third wave to have 101, 127, 141 to be reached. So in this case, the pair just went out under that 161 level, and I told you because it was that panic regarding the situation in Spain and in Italy. And as long as the Italian banks was downgraded, the pair just fall. Was something very powerful. But also 61 and 70 level from the previous move is something reasonable for the next wave. Anyway, in this situation, I think that we can look very soon for one move into the up direction. In this moment, I have just to put the Fibonacci. I will delete also that Fibonacci because I don't want for you to have any confusion, and I will simply put the Fibonacci onto this wave, and as long I have also the signal into 1 hour, I will look for a trade at least 38 for the first target. If I'm looking for the opposite, for the superior channel line, I think that we can establish as targets 61.8 or 70. I think that maybe 61.8 because we'll not have very big power. So it means a lot of, it means quite a nice trade. About 70, 80 pips at risk, or let's say 60, and 270 pips as reward. But again, we are on 4-hour time frames. This was about 69 candles. The previous wave was about 100 candles. So we have to look for several days to be reached this target. Okay, so if you have any question, because we have to close our webinar, please. Roderick, Krishna, is not the third wave normally longer and stronger than 1 and 2? Yes, usually the third wave is the strongest and the longest. but as long the pair just, this wave was very weak. Also the third wave will be weaker. I think that everyone in the market is just it's a period with a lot of confusion, and it's a period with a lot of decisions, and I think that everyone that is in the market just want to be very safe. So I think also you will have a lot of false signals or so. So you have to go into trades with smaller position, and you have to be a little bit careful into this period of time. Is the end of a big cycle. I have to remember you for euro. It was one cycle that started on August 2011, and probably this will be the final part. And I think that this is the one difficult period for all pairs, the end of the cycle. We are here at the end of the impulse, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cycle, and we are waiting for the correction. So I think that this is also something like this on OC. We don't have strong waves. Here this wave was just for 200 pips, and is not something, is not the biggest trade on 4 hour. Okay, so see you in the next webinar. We will keep the format. So if you have any questions, or if you have anything from the manual or from the system that you want to clarify, just post the question into the members area. I will take it. I will do my best to answer them into the webinar. I'm sure that there are a lot of persons that will be helped with those explanations. And also in the second part, we will talk about the markets, and we will see the evolution of the pairs. And we will see also for OC what level we reached. You are welcome, all of you. Thank you, Heidi. Have a good day also, all of you. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. See you in the next webinar.